Hello, how's it going, everyone? What's up, Abby? Nothing much. I'm feeling good
Well,
today. I don't know. I
good,
don't know.
good.
I don't know if I'm feeling because I was tired, but I don't know if I'm feeling your kid's energy or something. But I'm feeling real good.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been having some interesting energy lately. I've been feeling pretty good myself. I feel like I had a good week. I'm having a good month of October, basically, in general. So I don't want to jinx it by bringing
That's
it up,
good.
but it's good to have a good time instead of the usual. You guys like to hear me complain and whine about how shitty things are, whatever. You get to see Happy Mike or
Ah,
whatever.
you're happy, Mike. It's not always like that. Sometimes we don't feel good. Like
Yeah.
we've had times where you and I are like, I gotta get off this phone with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I got my moments where I understand
We
I,
both do.
well,
Everybody does.
yeah. Why do I have enemies or whatever? You get to know me. You'll know why.
Extra
So
bullets in the house. Volunteera, Jacqueline,
yeah. You know who else
Karen
is in the house? My
Pine.
kids are in the house tonight. You guys want to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
hi? You guys, why don't you come on over here, Kira, and get your milk glass in your mouth. Oh, by the way, guys, you saw me earlier just trying to take a nap over here. Hi. But then I realized I
Gosh, look all nonchalant.
They got spaghetti
Hi.
faces. They're just feeding them supper.
Come on.
So I've
Hi,
been
Bella.
focused lately, and there's been trying to juggle everything all at once. But I feel part of why I'm feeling good is I guess when you can actually pull off the juggling, you feel a bit like a boss. So,
Like a
Right
boss.
here. Good, please.
Jacqueline says hi, Michael's kids. Golden Monarch says hi, family. Hey, hey.
hey, hey, you guys would be stealing the show though. We get like
Yeah, come on. Bye.
And, and there's mommy. Hi, mommy.
Hi.
thanks, guys.
Look,
Appreciate
I
it.
got an opportunity to actually talk to them after the show one time. I'm not saying this for you because you know this. I'm saying this for our family in the interwebs, and they were just so impressive to me. They're like so aware. I could tell you guys are doing a really good job with them because they were so knowledgeable, not just of how to protect themselves as a child, but what was going on in the world around them, and they just made my heart swell.
Yeah, well, you guys know how I am, right? Imagine being my kids when I talk about this.
They're
So they get
definitely
pretty
absorbing
powerful.
it.
What's that?
I said they're definitely absorbing.
Yeah,
They're picking up what you're putting down, as
I
we would
appreciate
say in the black community. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
it. I like that.
So today, so we were gonna. Did you pull up the
Yeah.
GoFundMe's or because
Um.
today we're talking about art, and we're trying to learn as we go. Like Michael has the first half of the history of Argentina. I'm just gonna pull this. I'm just gonna make it us for a second, just so I could explain what's going on.
Right. Right.
Ah, not little. I'm sorry. I gotta show this one. Oh, we gotta turn the thing on. There we go. So not little rascals, little radicals. That's cute.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Um, so
I
you
worry
had the first.
about
Oh, go
telling them
ahead.
too much, just like everyone worries that I'm saying too much. I also have that worry, you know. But what happens? We all know, like you radicalize people, there's a bit of risk involved. We don't want to see people get hurt, but it's not our fault that people want to hurt radicals. You know what I mean?
And you like it is a concern that you don't want to feel like you're indoctrinating someone, but you want
Yeah.
to give them the information and then see like if I give you these two sides, what do you think about them? And
Yeah.
why do you feel this way? Like you have to have those real conversations. You don't just say, this is what's happening. This is you give them the other side too, and then let them become critical thinkers,
Oh yeah.
right?
I always try
and
to emphasize this is what I think. This is what I know. As far as I know, I might be wrong. Just try to remember that.
mhm, mhm.
See, what are you gonna? What,
So,
what,
I just want to let you guys know. I know this is kind of off topic, but
that's fine. Go ahead.
you guys might want to investigate in something with the Roblox and Schlep.
He wants us to do a show on the
can
Roblox.
you bring him closer to the mic? Can you bring
He
him
wants
closer to the mic?
closer to the mic. There you go. She can't quite hear you. Go
So
ahead.
just to let you guys know, there is a Roblox and Schlep situation, and I think we should do it like next stream.
There's like predators and stuff on the Roblox, and some of the Roblox
Employees.
and people that are playing and working for the Roblox stuff. They're trying to do their part in combating the predators, and it's something that we should talk about.
The Roblox employees, like Roblox themselves, say that they don't have any predators, but every game that is multiplayer has a 99.99% of a chance to have at least one predator.
Right. It's always hard to know who they are, and then when you ban them, they're just gonna come back with a new account. So how are you gonna know who they are?
Unless you IP ban them, and if you're in the same IP, then you can't join unless you move locations.
But we'll talk about that in a couple weeks, probably. We did want to talk about.
We had talked about talking about that with them.
Yeah.
Remember, we had talked about talking about that with them.
Yeah.
So they can give their.
We are having a conversation about this. Yeah.
So they can give their insight because they are very well versed on it, and that was why I was saying, they have a very good understanding of protecting themselves, where they are, and like micro where they are, and then macro for, I wouldn't say globally, but at least domestically for now. Global will come.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to overwhelm them.
Rondo's got a good comment. My son, yeah, go ahead.
Rondo knows what it is. Schlep is the one who's trying to tell Roblox about the predators, and they struck his channel on YouTube.
Just for trying to expose the actual bad guys. They do that to all. They do that to a lot of people for trying to reveal the truth. They come after you for trying to reveal the truth. So we see it happening in real time.
Yeah. Old man Barker wants to know how old he is.
Oh, he just turned 10 on October 8th.
And Fiddle Ford's catalog says predators are a big issue all over video games. Fella knows his stuff.
Good to see you. And Old Man Barker, how's it going? Before we get into,
while you're pulling that up, there's some stuff going on in the chat about the whole podcast world. I don't want to get into it in front of the kids, But I do see you guys in the chat, and there are legitimate questions and thoughts, and I really don't follow it because I just feel like I'm gonna do my thing. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah. Well, there's something to get into about talking about that drama stuff. We probably will have to confront it at some point. I just don't think we're today. So, I think actually
I don't feel like
just to mention, I heard Extra Bulla on his show was saying about they're going to do a stream where they're going to talk about the other side of the Hardlands media dispute. They're going to do a live stream. I think it's on the 29th or something, and they're going to talk about the whole other side of it. So if anyone's interested in that, that would be a good way to learn what's going on from the other side, or at least it's up to you to decide, what to believe about that. But that's kind of getting on a tangent from what we were going to talk about today. But before we get to the main topic, I had been hoping to talk about the fundraiser for for Aston Martin. So we need to mark our calendars for Wednesday, October 29th at 8 p.m. This will be next Wednesday. Indy is going to be doing a live stream fundraiser.
Ew.
That's maybe a little too big now. So Justice Aston Benefit Show would be streaming on the INN Indie News channel, I guess on Substack, Rumble, and YouTube, and then on his website. And I think that's Descent in Bloom's channel too. I'm not sure if she's got a YouTube. I know she has a Substack, so you'll probably be able to find it there. But it'll be Wednesday, the 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern. We do hope anyone who is available will be able to support the show, at least with a view, and a share and a like. And if you've got the ability to donate, now would be the time when we're doing this fundraiser. We would really appreciate that, because we're trying to get as much support for her now as possible. So,
that's a good point, Cowboy Kitty. Extra Bull, if you're still here, check the comments.
okay, let me see.
And speaking of Cowboy Kitty, that is the next fundraiser that we want to show before we get into the shows.
Oh wow, Rondo's got the same birthday as you, Marcus.
Hey, and also I'm a jelly. I'm like a jelly bean.
Are you a jelly bean?
I'm a jelly bean in the background.
You funny. Okay, there was a comment you're saying I'm looking for?
No. No,
Yeah.
I said Extra Bull, if you're still here, check the comments. That's not anything we want to get into tonight. But but speaking of Cowboy Kitty, that's the next fundraiser you're going to bring up, correct?
Yeah, I didn't have that called up, but I will do so.
We could do it halfway.
Honestly, I was trying to make my kids supper in the time before the stream that I usually take to actually get properly prepared. But here we go.
Well, I tell you what, we'll get started, and I'll pull it up, and like halfway through.
I got it here.
Then we'll. Oh, there you go.
There we go. Yeah.
Look in my other taken.
So let's get some justice for.
Right.
Please,
so I don't want to get into details too much with the kids around, but basically someone's been arrested for something she didn't do. There's two people here we're talking about have been arrested for no reason at all. And we're hoping to get people to help them get some legal assistance. They need lawyers. Lawyers need money. So we can if we can do that for them, that's a small thing that we can do to help out. So.
Maybe Cowboy Kitty, you could put up the hashtag, because is it Natalina? I think it's Natalina.
Natalia. Yeah.
Oh, Natalia. I put in an N.
Yeah, this is a fundraiser for the legal defense of Natalia Vlichkova, 54, female. She has been here 9 years legally and was currently in the process of applying for a green card, working and paying taxes as a box truck driver, taking care of her daughter. She's been taken into ICE custody after being illegally stopped over a registration that was not expired. All funds will go to her legal defense and to help her get her life back together after this is resolved. She has a upcoming court date where they have a chance maybe for her release. So even if you can't donate, thoughts and prayers would be much appreciated.
Like $1,000. They have $1,500.
That's right. See how much money that we've been able to raise by trying to help out. So, and it's not just us; it's a whole group of us trying to be there in solidarity with each other. It's pretty nice to see. It's inspiring, isn't it? So, but the other thing, because we're talking about, I don't want to overshadow Aspen. I don't know if we properly mentioned her situation. She is, I forget her age actually. I get, because there's a 33-year sentence.
18, I believe, 18 or 19.
So she's 18 or 19, and she's tried to go to a concert innocently to have a good time. There was a bit of a complications with the arrangements. Some people dropped out that were her trusted friends, and she went with someone that people had vouched for, that she felt she could trust. And if people know anything about autistic people, it's very important to have trusted friends to be doing like a new adventure kind of thing, like to go outside of their comfort zone. It's important to have a trusted network of people to be able to rely on to make sure that all things happen safely.
If she went to jail, I just did the calculation, but if she went to jail, she would be either 41 or 42.
Yeah, she'll have to be in jail until she's 42 for nothing. She didn't do anything. These laws about are being able to charge people for a crime they didn't commit because they happen to be in the same vehicle as someone else. This is utterly egregious, completely unacceptable.
And may I say,
Sorry, we can't interrupt too much, okay? All right, thank you.
or he could raise his hand,
Yeah,
so
that's
we'll
right.
know he wants to say something.
We'll come to you when we can, okay?
Because we do want to talk to him, you know.
I do want to hear what you have to say. Just don't. It's hard
Yes, we
to.
absolutely
You've
do.
never done a stream before. You've not been a. You gotta. There's a couple of things to try to learn. You want to not interrupt too much. You want to have a nice flow to the conversation, and we don't want to get too distracted.
He'll learn. He'll have his own channel soon. So
Yeah.
So speaking, I just want to touch base with Natalia again, because I think she has children, and gosh, I wish I would have pulled this up. There's this ICE agent who was stopped for DUI, and his children were in the car with him, and he was highly intoxicated, and he introduced himself as a Department of Homeland Security person or what have you, and actually he was just an ICE agent, which is separate from Department of Homeland Security, and he was trying to reason or beg or whatever, gain sympathy with the person who pulled him over, which was actually a black person. Even in his, let me make sure I'm saying it. Okay, well, I'll start with that. Even in his trying to garner sympathy, which we'll talk about that in a second, he's asking the police officer, "Are you Haitian?" Like his racism was flowing. Even, and then has the nerve to say, "Come on, man, I have kids." Okay, well, the people you are locking away have kids. So why should we give a damn? Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Why should we care about your children more than you care about theirs? Shouldn't your children be on an even playing field? If they could be snatched away from their children, so can you, because that's what equity is about. That's why they don't like diversity, equity, and inclusion, because that puts everybody on the same playing field, and they want a hierarchy of morality.
There's just so much arrogance about that man and a towering ignorance, that you can really, with a straight face, you can lie that much about how what you're doing to people isn't destroying lives, and how you have the right to go arrest all these people even though you don't. But then when all of a sudden the shoe's on the other foot, now you understand the problem. But they understand it personally, like how when he's finally harmed by that kind of an action against himself. But I bet you that he's not actually going to, in his mind, put all the dots together and come out with, I actually need to change as a human being in a massive way. I need to abandon the kind of bullshit, the crap that I was doing, saying I need to if you believe in God and stuff, or that man needs to redeem himself now in a hard kind of way, in the face of God kind of thing, if he ever wants to go to heaven, right? But a lot of people don't believe in the stuff that they say that they believe,
Yeah, and you're being used as a tool for profit. So like they're saying in the comments, they make money every day they hold her.
Exactly.
Both of these ladies, everybody, even the people that we don't know, that we aren't like specifically fundraising for, all of them, they make money every day that they hold them. And that's why they delay their sentencing. They delay, and they've done this to the Black community since prison system, since slave catchers were created. Well,
Marcus.
actually, not slave catchers. I'm sorry. Slave catchers would catch them and return them back to the plantation. But after slavery was abolished, then they made vagrancy laws, wouldn't give a black person a job unless they were sharecroppers, which was nothing but slavery with under a new name. But if you didn't have that job, you had
You froze, Abby. I
they could
missed
put
what
you in prison.
you just froze out for the last 5 seconds.
I froze. I don't know what you didn't hear.
Just the last
I
little
said
bit of the
slave
comment.
catchers. Oh, vagrancy laws. So vagrancy laws were put in place after slavery was abolished. And basically the law stated if you did not have gainful employment, then you were a menace to the society or public or what have you, and therefore we can jail you. But they were purposely not giving black people jobs unless you went into sharecropping, and sharecropping was just slavery by a new name.
This is
So
a upsetting thing, though, as far as like they're making money off of holding every day, every person that they hold, or they're making more and more money off of it. But then, like, we're gonna get into a little bit about the problems with the money system. And so, at the end of the day, all of this horrible stuff that they're doing is so that they can be paid with dollars that are like toxic and worthless. But because everyone believes in how important they are, we can all do these horrible things to each other in the name of making that money that is making everything horribly like corrupt all around the world. And so, what are our priorities? You know, what's actually important for being a human being? That's the kind of stuff that's completely lost nowadays.
I don't think she's being held in out. Well, Cowboy Kitty could tell us better. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
not like
sure.
she's being held in like a Guantanamo Bay type conditions, but that's not the yardstick to be measuring anything by. You know, whatever conditions, almost any jail across the U.S. I maybe am not the right person to speak about this. I've never been to any of them, right? I never looked into it, but everything I've heard about the states, none of those jails have any conditions that any person should be subjected to. And the one that Aspen's in particular, I was reading the article that Dissent and Bloom wrote. Maybe I should look for that to share it if somebody wants. I haven't read it, would like to.
Yeah,
She was
we're already 30 minutes.
prison.
30 minutes in on topic.
She was describing the type of guards that are running that prison, the type of sheriff and stuff. It's scary, insane. Like it's like a little torture camp or whatever, like a personal kingdom that they've turned the jail into, and the sheriff has no, like, the government says the sheriff's allowed to do whatever they want in the name of the state or whatever, and then the state does no enforcement whatsoever when he violates the law in the name of the state, and so he's got complete impunity, and the most disgusting things go on in that prison. People are dying for the most ridiculous things. They're just not getting medication and stuff like this. And so that's not a jail. That's just a killing ground.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting in a serious.
Yeah, no. So
in the chat,
I just have two more statements. And one was, hi there, cookies. One was a fun fact.
For that comment, mister. That's inappropriate.
What?
You just, I don't want to show it again on the screen, but Cookies is being funny, but he's using more grown-up jokes.
Oh, yeah, we got kids in the house. We got kids in the house.
I know. It's okay.
Kids in the house. And one of them is real inquisitive. You see that one back there.
Well, Kira is too, but she's a bit distracted right now.
She's distracted on her iPad, but the other one, he wants to be a podcaster himself, so he's all up in the business. Fun fact, though, in Mississippi, they had concentration camps for Black people. A lot of people don't know that. It's a fun fact. Maybe we can talk about it one day. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, Jacqueline asked, okay, was sharecropping anything like the serfs under the feudal system? So we have to understand, like, feudalism and indentured servitude was never on the same inhumane level as chattel slavery. Chattel slavery was something that the world had never seen before. And so sharecropping for Black people was like, okay, yeah, we have to pay you, but we still have the same mindset about who you are and what you are. So your treatment will be no different, but we'll throw you a couple of coins because legally we have to. So
Yeah, from what I remember, the serfs under the feudal system, they had like a
we're
little bit.
supposed to be talking about Argentina, right, Michael?
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm just saying the serfs, they had a little bit, like, they
Okay.
actually had better rights under that system. Like they didn't own the land that they worked with, but they had more of an entitlement to like the crops that they grew, as opposed to the sharecroppers, or you're just doing all the work and you have none of the ownership kind of thing. But we're not prepared to talk about feudalism either tonight. So it's just
So
interesting
what
how
we're supposed to be talking about.
progression of history ends up with less rights somehow, right?
So you're going to start with kind of a history of Argentina, and I'm going to end with what do we think is the purpose of what Trump is doing with our farmers and with Argentina? So you guys can throw out ideas when I'm talking about it and everything. These are just, I just have two thoughts about it, and I'm going to try to give some kind of supporting evidence. But I do have thoughts, and I could be missing. It could be more than those two things, you know. So we're just here to try to figure stuff out, because remember, they're playing the long game, and we have to start thinking in terms of a long game and not a short game. And so that's what we're here to do today. So take it away, Michael.
All right, here we go. That was a perfect. Your sentence was ending just as I was calling it up here. So
Okay.
how's it going? Kill your egregores. Good to see you, and Golden Monarch. Always good to see all of you. If this will ever come up
while
on
it's
screen,
pulling up, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We have to say these things. It helps with the algorithm or something. We're working on building
I'm not sure how much it actually does.
It's there in 1895.
I think that it's not so much the algorithms that all that helps with. It's that the word of mouth is the only thing that keeps the shadow ban people actually getting growing numbers. So let's try and keep that alive, please.
Well, that's true.
So
So don't forget to talk about us when you're talking about leftist ideology and politics. Mention our names. Maybe that's the best way. I don't know.
This article is from, I guess, qcostarrica.com. I don't know. But it's just some, I had to archive it or because they wouldn't let me read it otherwise. But it's the title of the article is, in 1895, Argentina had the world's highest GDP per capita. What went wrong? Bad economic policy has led to the long decline of what was once a great economy. Ooh, colonialism and great economy. I wonder what the connection is there. Is the great or terrible the word you want to use there, right? So this article is from the 21st of April, 2018, by Rico, who I don't have a last name. That's always good to know. Maybe this article is written by an AI. Because back in the day, so probably not. It is widely known that towards the end of the 19th century, Argentina had managed to position itself as one of the richest countries in the world. Immigrants often pondered in those years the choice of emigrating to New York or Buenos Aires. Many families that left Europe or the Middle East were conflicted with respect to choosing the United States or Argentina, with the choice often hinging on the cost of the ship or the more convenient departure time. Between 1880 and 1940, the majority of immigrants often decided that Argentina would be the best place to live, with job opportunities, peace, religious freedom, and a future for their families. The newcomers surely did not imagine how quickly the Argentine dream would become reality. With hard work, most became successful business owners, merchants, and traders. But probably the hardest thing to predict was that their efforts would disappear in smoke. Economic growth stagnated. The country that had become a developed power in a couple of decades became a case study in economic ruin and disaster. Around this turn of the century period, the Argentine opulence was noteworthy. Hi, Tosh, what's up?
You can hear her?
Yeah. You gotta, when she
Wow.
comes in, every time she comes in she says something, the mic picks it up, so I always hear her when she comes in.
You think it's because her voice has lower decibels? Because my mic has to be right here.
Very, very
That's
possible.
right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, he said hi. She said, "What's up, Michael?" Okay, he's learning us. All right. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're done. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all good. So around this turn of the century period, the Argentine opulence was noteworthy. I always love when an article has the word noteworthy in it when we're on our noteworthy show. Nice little synchronicity. With Argentina generally considered among the 5 wealthiest countries of the world. Argentina, that looks like a spelling error. However, a study by Madison Historical Statistics revealed that in 1895 and 1896, Argentina was not one of the richest countries in the world, but the number 1 with the world's highest GDP per capita. So it's quite interesting to see how far the mighty have fallen. And it's a bit of a, maybe not too much of a conundrum if you think about it for a little bit, but what is it that would make such a country like, sorry, there's somebody with a goddamn engine driving like a moron outside. I don't know. Stupid people. Sorry. Putting smoke all up on the parking lot. Now I'm distracted. I hope he's okay. Anyway. So what was I just saying? About what's it's a bit of a mystery here. What is Argent? Jesus. I got more than one window open, so I don't know. You guys probably can't hear it, but there's tires squealing.
Oh, wow. We can hear it.
Show off their vehicle.
And now the
smoke is starting to get in.
The smoke is coming into the room. Just give me a moment. I got to close some windows. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell people are doing with their vehicles, with our climate change problems. People still act like a bunch of giant children. I don't want to ever see that kind of stuff happen again. It will happen every day. So,
there you go.
Yeah. The amount of damage that they do to their cars when they do that.
My ex has an excellent point. They're not only are they destroying the environment, they're throwing money away for fucking nothing. Sorry, bad words. I gotta get off this now. So back to the article. I was trying to say that the mystery of Argentina. How does Argentina, of all countries, get the highest GDP in the world at any point in history? Like, do they have as much oil as Venezuela has? Do they have like the massive gold deposits? I don't know which country is the biggest gold, but they don't have those natural resources that would give them the power to be the richest in the world. So how is it that they? Long story short, it's colonialism. Okay, they were the geolocated strategically to be the port that takes the riches from the gold rush and the silver rush of all these Europeans coming over to the New World to get the riches and extract them back to Europe. Well, you need a port to get them from the New World to the Old World. And Buenos Aires happens to be perfectly situated for that. And so it's interesting, though, how it also has to do with the conflict between the Spanish Empire and the British Empire, and how these perfectly strategically located lesser third nations have the opportunity to play the big powers against each other for their own personal benefit for a time until those bigger powers come back and reassert dominance over this smaller country. So that's the kind of elephant in the room when it comes to talking about the history of Argentina, is that their wealth only ever came from the extraction of resources for the sale across the Atlantic. So let's not forget that. Right behind Argentina were the United States, Belgium, Australia, the United Kingdom, and New Zealand. The economic historian Angus Maddison devoted himself to collecting economic statistical data, particularly prior to 1960. After his death, the University of Groningen continued his legacy under the auspices of the Madison Project. I'm not really sure how important that was to read, but I did anyway. So, how is Argentine success explained? After the May Revolution in 1810 and independence in 1816, Argentina had difficulty finding a model for prosperity. After the governments of Juan Manuel de Rosas and his overthrow in the Battle of Caseros in 1852, the country embarked on the constitutional project of Juan Bautista Alberdi, 1853 to 60, of clear liberal orientation. The new political and legal framework was pro-immigration, defended free enterprise, kept the state separate out of free enterprise, and limited itself to offering the appropriate legal framework within the rule of law. So basically, the new political and legal framework was capitalism, 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 with a dash of capitalism. You get that right? So the results in terms of attracting immigrants, growth, economic development are so statistically clear that they need no explanation. This is one of those things where people would say, like, the history of Argentina demonstrates the power of pure capitalism in motion, you know, and there needs to be no explanation as to what was the source of their success.
Can't wait till we get to the decline.
Yeah, wait till you hear the rest of the story. But when you want to cherry pick your moments in history, you can say, look, that's when capitalism was a massive success. We need to recreate that. But then you're also plus that comes right after. And Argentina is a perfect example of how you can have the massive success. You can be the wealthiest nation in the world, but what do they have now? They've
Oopsies.
had economic crises for like 200 years. They've been having horrible crises because their economic model does not work. Never has, never will. Okay? So, but it's not easy when you get trapped in those cycles. It does, like, you could try and like, you might want to, like, a lot of Argentinians may want to be as communist as any of us, but now that they're in like as deep as they are in the crisis, their choices are completely made for them for decades now. Like, all their freedom's been taken away because of this, these contradictions that are inherent to their systems. So
Rondo has a question.
There's a very interesting, that's not exactly the angle that we were taking it today, but it's very interesting about the history of Nazis in Argentina, as well as the history of Zionists in Argentina. To me, it's like the unique location where Zionists and Nazis had an unprecedented interaction over, like, first the Nazis came, and then, well, actually, no, I think it's first the Zionists came, and then the Nazis came, right? So
I'm going to be discussing that sort of in my portion.
But there is a whole lot of research I still don't know enough about that history, but it's fascinating, and there's only so much time in the day. So yeah, let's see, where am I at here?
The relationship between...
Right. The relationship between the policies applied and the results are as evident as the opposite case current Venezuela. This is what they want to, it's quite hilarious. This article this article from 2018 is trying to compare Venezuela and Argentina as if Argentina is the success story and Venezuela is the disaster state or failed state. But little does this person in 2018 know that by 2025, Argentina will be the laughingstock of South America. specifically because they were so willing. Well, I don't know how willing they were, because that's another thing, is that we got to not try and paint Argentina like it's like everyone there is some kind of anarcho-capitalist libertarian genius, to put it, as far as Javier Milei and them. Like, there's a huge segment of the population that wants nothing to do with that kind of insanity. Before Milei got into power, they're more left-wing kind of governments were trying to align with China and everything. And there was the panic of the bourgeois that gets their bread buttered by the Americans. They're all, we can't let Argentina be rescued. We have to ensure that it stays trapped in this horrible insanity forever. Like, how do people do that to their country? I don't get it. Yeah, extra bola. Benefits the rich. Good to see you.
You know how it's like the blueprint is there. But go ahead. Let's get into the nitty gritty. How is the decline explained?
Yeah, there we go. And this is where I often have a hard time as like an amateur researcher and stuff.
Do you mind making it bigger? Is that possible?
Yeah. I did before, and the words were getting.
That's so much better.
There we go. But let's see if we agree with their explanation, because I find like most academics these days, they don't even know how to explain things properly, because they're not anti-capitalist enough at the end of the day to actually know how to explain stuff. So, but maybe that's our bias. That's always something we got to keep in mind. So how is the decline explained? Excuse me. Because it takes a few years to reap good results, sound economic policy can also be ruined in a short time. After 3 constitutional presidencies, won in free and democratic elections, we'll just let them have that claim. We're not even going to touch that. So you say. All right. In 1930, Argentina suffered its first military coup. Oh, so the Great Depression. That's kind of interesting, right? There's a whole. I actually, just briefly, I'll mention since they're mentioning 1930 Argentina, whatever. One thing that I found interesting in my research about Argentina was they seem to have been a country that adopted the fiat currency system and abandoned the gold standard as a way to resolve their crisis from the Great Depression. So by 1935, they had already kind of abandoned the gold standard. And it wasn't until 1971 that the U.S. felt the same need to do so. So it's a little bit like what happens in the periphery of the imperial system eventually makes its way to the core, but it takes time. So anyway. So the institutional damage was even greater when the Supreme Court of Justice at the time endorsed the de facto government that broke with incipient democracy. After the struggle between radicals and conservatives, a new military uprising in 1945 ended with the arrival of Juan Domingo Perón.
Can I stop you real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says that the de facto government that broke with incipient democracy. So like that right there needs to be dissected in and of itself, because the term democracy is just thrown around as if it's the truth, or if it's a matter of fact. But it could be like a democracy in the face of the people, but it's actually something else. Like America or something like that. Like I don't when you say democracy, let me see your constitution.
Mm-hmm.
How let me see how your elections are held before you just throw the term of democracy on them. Yeah.
Well, and then they often will add a qualifier like this word incipient. So if you want to talk about democracy in a way that you normally wouldn't, then you just have to add a extra operational definition, and then you're not even talking about democracy anymore. You're talking about incipient democracy, whatever that is. But the thing about the Supreme Court endorsing the de facto government, that's not necessarily breaking with democracy either. That kind of needs to be said, where those in part of the purpose of those institutions is when there is constitutional crisis or electoral uncertainty, they have the authority to step in and restore, allegedly, the democracy that has found itself in a dilemma. So it's a bit of like a lot of, you find a lot of times when you read stuff, what is stated as if it is a fact is a claim, not a fact at all. So this is something that's extremely important to recognize in order to sift through the propaganda. Like I feel like the China needs to be talked about a lot when we're going to be talking about what's up with the U.S. Argentina relations. You can't really understand what's up with the U.S. Argentina relations without factoring in China's role, China's relations with Argentina and the U.S. Because it's like,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, I just wanted to point this out because this is like this is the part that I wanted to hear the most, and I keep getting interrupted. My mom just came in and told me she was going to church, but Sean says incipient in an initial stage, beginning to happen or develop. So not a democracy.
Right.
Just the idea that a democracy could exist. Like,
yeah.
Again, like Sean says, a variant in its inception.
But it's not
kind a democracy.
They're most likely like, I see this kind of a recurring theme because it's a fledgling democracy, an incipient, wherever it's a brand new, a baby democracy. It needs to be protected, just like industries, whatever, brand new industries, all like that capitalist free market logic about how everything needs to just sink or swim on its own. That gets tossed out the window when it becomes important to say this is a nascent industry, an incipient industry. It deserves all the capital controls that otherwise would be antithetical to capitalist belief, whatever. So it's the same thing with democracy here. If it's a baby democracy, we have to apply all of these authoritarian, whatever, dictatorial controls on the democracy to make sure that it grows up the way it's supposed to, of course.
So that's what Jacqueline's comment is saying. Wonder if incipient democracy meant that only the wealthy landowners could vote, or it could mean like kind of like what you said, which was how it was supposed to be set up here anyway. But to your point, it could also mean yes, free market capitalism, but free market until free market in concept, but we're going to give no bid contracts to our friends because they deserve it, because they are wealthy and they know how to make things run and make things go smoothly.
Yeah.
So
they give the contract to the
same kind of concept.
Yeah. So the whole thing about the way to make the country prosperous is to make sure that all the money that the country earns goes to private foreign investors. So that's the recipe for the disaster economy, but it is pitched as the solution, the path to success. So
this is very interesting.
Right. So you wanted me to continue with the article, or we got some more? Yeah. Okay.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. I think we picked a good topic here today, and I hope that we get into some of the stuff that I had been reading about, because I often read very interesting things, and I don't find a way to actually.
Now we're still an hour in, so make sure you give me my moment now.
Yeah, I don't want to go too late tonight. I got the kids only.
I probably only need an hour.
Right. Let's try and get it hammered out in an hour then, because I got a little bit. I want a little bit of time after the stream to hang out with the kids. So.
To hang out with the kids, yeah, because you don't want us to get too late.
Yeah. So after the struggle between radicals and conservatives, the new military uprising ended in 1945. Ended with the arrival of Juan Domingo Perón to the presidency the following year. There, the constitution was changed from a liberal model to one that did not respect private property within the framework of a fascism inspired by the Italian model of Benito Mussolini. So here, while everyone can agree that fascism inspired by Mussolini is no recipe for success for a country, what they're trying to do is impress in the minds of the readers that it's the so-called liberal model that respects private property that is the only model that provides real success to a nation and to its people. And this is the big lie that has to be rejected without falling into a seduction by fascism, whatever, right? So you can do both. You can reject private property and fascism. It is possible. Let's do that, please. So after the coup that overthrew Peron in 1955, the constitution that was put into effect was a hybrid between those of Alberti and Peron. Although there was the liberal spirit of Articles 14 and 19, the 14 bis section appeared guaranteeing social rights and inheritance from Peronism. From that moment on, everything was statism, deficit crises, inflation, and insufficient fixes that turned into solutions as precarious as they were counterproductive in the long term. The solution for the future, although it is paradoxical, is in the history books. So this right here is where they're trying to say anything that's like big government, whatever, not free market, that is the disaster that has to be avoided, whatever. You can never have too much, like it's that autarky that I've been talking about. Like the self-sufficiency of a nation is considered for a foreign investor, that is the worst idea possible because they need these countries open so that they can be predators, right? To prey on these people's resources. So if you try and have government-owned industries, they're always going to try and find a way to portray that as a precarious, whatever, counterproductive in the long-term kind of system. That's where I guess we got to start writing our own articles, because when you try and find a resource, you just got to we just got to tell the listener, these guys are full of shit. Sorry. So the only difference in relation to the boom experienced by nascent Argentina and that which may come in the future is that technology and globalization could make it much easier, faster, and simpler with more potential for exponential growth. That's a whole lot of hopium right there, okay? I was actually, if people will check out the Discord, we found out some pretty interesting things about the disasters of data centers in the US as well as China. There's been a huge bet.
I'll be talking about that.
That's not what I talk about today, but I'm just saying, people with their technology.
No, I will be talking about that today.
Their solution, their panacea for all the world's problems. You guys are making the problem way worse by putting all of our eggs in the one basket of technology, and it's not actually. It's a basket with a massive hole in the bottom. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's actually one of my theories about what's going on with Argentina. So we'll get into that, I promise.
I'm not trying to talk up on another tangent, which is what happens with me a lot. I have one thought that leads to another thought, and all of a sudden we're not even on.
Wait till we get to it, and then you could comment on it.
Sounds good.
Marcus had something that he wanted to say.
What were you saying, Marcus?
And that hole leads to another basket that leads to a hole that leads onto a spike.
Oh man, really? That's a good metaphor for
the internet.
For the internet, for the investments in technology and what they will lead us to. But what we believe we're going to get out of them is the chicken hatching from the egg, and instead we're going to have the
yolk.
Now remind him when he
into the
talk, he needs to come to the mic.
Like, oh boy, I'm gonna put this.
He has to come to the mic.
Chicken, but then it just.
She wants you to come closer to the mic.
So then you put the egg in the basket, and you're like, oh boy, I'm gonna get a new chicken. But then that chicken egg goes into a spike, and then if you just waited, it did not put it in the basket. You would actually get a chicken. But if you put it in the basket, which has a hole that leads to another basket, which has a hole into a spike, then that as chicken egg would go into the spike, making you get yolk instead of chicken.
Very nice. I appreciate how.
I feel like he's talking about corporate buybacks.
Yeah, and derivatives and stuff. It's amazing how that actually was accurate to put it that way, to add that extra layer there. And it's like these shell corporations and everything, right? Like, as an investor, I'm gonna invest in this place. These people who are investing in these people, who are investing in these people. How did I lose my money? I don't understand. Because I didn't even know who I was investing in down the line, right?
And they just buy something random, and then they're like, here you go, here you go, here you go, and then instead of giving it back, they just sell it for less. That's money that they got, and they're like, here we go, here's your money back, and you have like $1,000 less.
That's exactly what happened. Sometimes people made all these mistakes for years, and the only choice that they have is to sell it for less and just call it quits. You know, say, you got me, I lose. Maybe next time I'll make a better investment.
Because they think it's worth
This is
less.
great job, kid.
Yeah, everyone thinks you're doing a great job, Marcus. Okay, so what were we going to next? Are you gonna cover something?
Yeah, I could take over now. Okay, so just so you see, I put Michael's Nahila Nostrom's. If you want to donate to him for his time and effort, there is his.
They would appreciate a little bit of extra.
His Ko-fi. Eventually, I'm going to put one up, but
I understand.
I'm doing all right for now. I'm making it. I'm making it.
I feel like I can't ask for money for us and ask for the fundraisers, and there's always so many people that need support, and so I understand tough times are tough. So if you wanna help me out, thanks, but I understand completely if I get not a single. I'm okay with doing this work and not really getting any money for it, because it's not anyone's fault for why things are economically impossible. Like YouTube, people were just a lot of us were doing all this work, and YouTube makes all this money. That's a broken system. So I'm not gonna get all like heartbroken that I can't be economically successful, because it's not my fault that everyone has allowed things to get this way. We have to do what we can to get away from the need to earn money. And if I have to not earn money so that we can build that, I'll do what I can, right? I just hope that that's a way to success. Trying to voluntarily be one of the ones who chooses not to earn the money, if that doesn't work, that's the wrong thing to do, right? But I don't know. We'll have to figure out what to do together. Anyways.
So I feel like I'm going to start this off with Zionism, and you'll see how. Once I keep going, you'll kind of see how it plays into it. Now, this is Congressman Joe Morrell. He's a Hispanic Democratic congressman, and let's see what he has to say. Very short clips, just to give you an idea of what's going on. Then we can talk about it on the other sides.
Because of Donald Trump, American farmers who sell products like soybeans have no market, because the Chinese are buying from Argentinian farmers, who, by the way, Argentina is getting now a $40 billion bailout. Of course, only if Donald Trump's preferred candidate for Argentina's presidency wins. So we're giving $40 billion to try to affect an election in Argentina. And farmers in Argentina are selling soybeans to China, and American soybean farmers are going broke. You figure that out.
Okay.
Because of Donald Trump.
We are here. We are here to figure that out. We are here to figure that out.
Well, I think he's wrong about what he just said in that video. He's saying they gave $40 billion to influence an election. Is that his claim for what the reasoning is for the Trump administration to do this in the first place?
Put a pin in it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so.
United States in helping this way Argentina.
Just helping a great philosophy take over a great country. Argentina is one of the most beautiful countries that I've ever seen. And we want to see it succeed. Very simple. I mean, we don't have to do it. It's not going to make a big difference for our country, but it will in terms of South America. If Argentina does well, you're going to have others following.
For Argentina.
Interesting.
It's gonna make a great deal. It's gonna be good for South America. Not
It'll be the shining example on the hill, eh? Yeah, right.
now. Let's look at this really quickly. Let's look at Bibi Netanyahu's relationship with the Argentinian president. Oh, I should make that bigger, shouldn't I?
So that's always something worth those who don't know. It's interesting to hear about their close, friendly relationship between Bibi Netanyahu and Javier Milei.
Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Argentine President Javier Milei have a close, friendly relationship characterized by mutual support for Israel, with Netanyahu calling Milei a true friend. They have met multiple times to discuss strengthening bilateral ties, including economic cooperation and defense partnerships. Malay's strong pro-Israel stance and support for the Jewish community have been praised by Netanyahu and other Israeli officials. Key aspects of their relationship: mutual support. Netanyahu has publicly praised Milei as a true friend for his steadfast support for Israel and his stance against systematic bias at the UN. Milei has also taken actions such as listing Hamas as a terrorist organization and showing support for Israeli hostages. Strategic cooperation. They have discussed expanding cooperation in various areas, including the economy and defense. This includes a multilateral defense agreement signed between Argentina and Israel to enhance collaborations on cyber defense, drones, and communication systems. Put a pin in that, okay? And we should really look up a map of where Argentina is located in South America, because that's important too. Personal and ideological connection. Both leaders have expressed a close connection, with Netanyahu having met with, we already talked about that. Their shared focus on free markets, which we already discussed, aren't free. They are free for thee and not for me. But anyway, in combating
Free for me and not
threats,
me, is that what you're saying?
free for me, not me.
No, but
Oh,
yeah,
maybe I should say free for thee and not for me. I should say it like that. Okay. Their shared focus on free markets and combating threats like Iran also forms a basis for their partnership. Recent meetings, let me just skip that, initiatives. Malay, a recipient of the Genesis Prize, has issued the Isaacs Accords initiative, which aims to strengthen relations between Latin America and Israel. Okay, so you see that, right? You see where I'm going with this, correct?
right. Well,
Right.
I'm glad you mentioned this. It's interesting that you're noting the connections between Israel and Argentina as far as defense. And I also came across something that's talking about India and Argentina have a growing relationship in terms of defense, right? 'Cause one of the things,
Okay.
so it's interesting to note all these who's in bed with who together, right? So we understand
Mhm.
the Hindutvas are not all that different at all from the Zionists. And then when they are working with the anarcho-capitalists of Argentina, we can kind of just consider all these people to be the same kind of fascist, right? So
Yep.
whatever they call
So
themselves, their alliances reveal who they are. So
yes, and as Maya Angelou said, when they reveal themselves to you, believe them.
and
Okay,
also you
so
mentioned
I'm
about
gonna.
Iran too. I'll show an article about it.
Uh-huh.
We're making connections that we didn't talk about this beforehand, but
Mhm.
you're playing off of what I'm gonna show, and it's gonna reinforce what we have to say, right?
Okay. So this is from Reuters, October 22nd, 2025. Trump's Malay election warning fuels backlash and colonialism accusations in Argentina. So let's read the article. Let me see if I can get over here. I'm not going to read the summary. I'm going to read the article. When U.S. President Donald Trump last week conditioned a hefty financial bailout of Argentina on President Javier Milei triumphing in upcoming midterm elections. Remember how that congressman was saying that this bailout is contingent upon the elections. So this is like making sure the regime that you want there is going to stand. All right. He handed the country's opposition a new cry. So these are people against Malay. On social media, hashtag Patria o Colonia, motherland or colony, trended after Trump's comments, which came during a press conference with Malay at the White House. Jorge Tiana, a former, and if I'm butchering these names, I apologize, a former defense minister and leading Peronist opposition candidate in the province of Buenos Aires demanded on X that Trump stop exporting Argentine people. I don't know why all of this is blank. What happened? Okay. And outside of Buenos Aires apartment, where powerful opposition leader and former President Cristina Kirchner is under house arrest for corruption, packed crowds listened to a blasted audio recording where she said that the Argentine economy is being managed with remote control by the Treasury of the United States. Trump's potential 40 billion bailout. So I think it's 20 billion initially and then 20 billion if he gets the person that he wants in. I believe that's what it is.
Well, I'm confused if there's a 20 billion IMF bailout, and it seems like there's also like a 40 billion bailout by the U.S. government. Are those the same thing, or are they one on top of the other? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. So let me finish reading this and then we can come back to that. Okay. Trump's
Okay.
potential $40 billion bailout of serial defaulter Argentina includes a signed $20 billion currency swap and a possible 20 billion facility. So I think that's what I was talking about. You get 20 billion now, and if I get who I want, you get another 20 billion. And that's why people keep throwing out 20 billion and 40 billion. Because I'm like, well, which one is it? 20 billion or 40 billion? And it's because the first is like the initial.
You're trying to make it conditional on who wins the election.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Is definitely interfering.
Yes.
Hands down.
Trump.
Now I get why people are saying that the reason why the bailout is why they're doing it is to interfere with an election, but it's to me that's actually the secondary explanation. The main reason why they're doing this is because the de-dollarization efforts of China and the BRICS countries, America has to counter that.
Wait.
But yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
We got to do the why we think after all the evidence, right? And then we could start conjecturing.
Sounds
okay. Good. So hold that, okay? Because I didn't even have that one in my thoughts. So that's good.
Okay.
So in Melee, Trump gets a loyal conservative ally in an often adversarial Latin America and possible access to natural resources like lithium and a block of growing Chinese influence in the region, said Pablo Vomero, the executive director of Clasco, a think tank based in Argentina. Now, you know, some think tanks, how we feel about each other. But
you froze a bit.
So after I showed you that, I'm sorry.
You just froze for another 2 seconds. I just missed something.
Oh, okay.
You said
so after I showed you that,
after that,
I want to show you like a few things about farm. I'm going back to farming, and this is going to tie back into AI, which you kind of mentioned before, and then when I finish, you could do your third theory, okay? Because I have two, and then we'll do your third. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I gotta X this out. I just want to show some things just to remind people what we were talking about farming and what's happening with soybeans and all that stuff. Just in case you're here and you weren't here before.
We can't help but feel very anxious of wondering why it's taking so long to get this resolved.
Are you angry?
The farther we go into this season, the more we're going to lose. And China should have been buying our beans already, and they're not. It's like crickets. We can't help but feel very anxious.
And the reason they're crickets is because of the tariffs, right? So I think I put that in the next one. Oh no. The reason they're crickets is because we put tariffs on China. China said to hell with you and started buying their soybeans from Argentina. The same people we bailed out. Keep that in the back of your mind. All right. Now we're talking about beef, okay? Beef. So.
Oh yeah, beef. Argentina is, I think, one of the, just like Brazil, a big place for beef production.
Yeah. So maybe I should play this one first. I'll play this one first. What Trump is saying about beef. Okay. And then we'll go to a farmer talking about beef. And then we'll move on. All right.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina is fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it.
You don't know
They're fighting
anything
for
about
their
it.
life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right?
Who is killing them? Who are they fighting? America.
Not like people. There are other people dying.
It's Trump who's
Okay.
responsible. You're right, Marcus.
So-
Trump's the one talking like he loves Argentina. He's the one who hates Argentina. He's like, everything he says, you should assume it's the opposite of the truth initially.
Exactly. So this is a beef farmer. I mean, a cattle farmer. I should say cattle. Okay. Let's see what he has to say. And he's like the head of the local Democratic Party in I think in Ohio or something like that. Just so you know, he's not a Trump supporter, but this is what he has to say.
Hi, Chris Gibbs, Ohio. These are my cows back here, and they got a question. They've worked all year to put calves on the ground to feed this nation and beyond. They want to know why in the hell would the American public want to buy beef from Argentina when they're standing right here, ready to go to work, been working all year. Looking at you, Donald. Hi, Chris Gibbs, Ohio.
All right.
These are my.
So you want to hear my theories now?
Yep. You gonna listen to Abby's theories, Marcus?
Okay.
Does he want to say something?
Do you want to say something before she gets started?
That thing was actually true.
Come to the mic, baby. Come to the mic.
Thing was actually,
Speak to the mic so that they can hear you.
that video that you showed was actually true, because if you have literal cows in your country, why are you buying cows from another country that you hate?
It's
Well,
very
let's find out. Let's
see
find
why
out.
people do
Marcus.
that kind of weirdness. There's an explanation. It just doesn't seem to make much sense to us either.
Well, we are here trying to figure out the explanations, right? Okay. So I'm going to give you my first theory, which I don't have any video or anything for. It is that the gap between the haves and the have-nots has to widen for them to be able to do the things that they want to do on a global scale. like they have to neuter the people where they are so desperate that they can't really do anything against the government because they have no money,
No
no
resources
assets,
to wage the
no
fight.
resources
Yeah.
to fight. They are just in survival mode, and
There's
that's
a
it.
couple things. They want
That's my first
people,
theory.
yeah, they want the, I agree with that theory
Go ahead.
100%. It's like they want to beggar the people so that they don't have enough energy or resources to mobilize an effective resistance. They want to take that wealth that we could have used, and they want to have it to like strengthen their coffers so that they can use whatever they have. Sometimes you need a whole lot of assets to start a big mega project. Whatever, you can't do that without robbing a whole bunch of people to make sure that you can implement your disastrous plans. And third, they want, like you're saying, to drive people to the brink, to the point where they will start to work against their own interests out of frustration, and then they'll end up electing the exact opposite of who they should. Because if you get people confused enough and angry enough, then you can get them to what is it? Believe that Voltaire comment. If you can get people to believe in absurdities, you can get them to commit atrocities. So all three of those things are the.
I just had a second theory.
Go ahead.
From what you were saying, and it just came to me about how they keep talking about civil war and this and that, and like people are so split already, and they already feel like we have too many people in the population. So if they can get us arguing enough and fighting enough, they can like decrease the population without even doing anything
for them, right? Yeah, that's the whole point.
Right? Like we will do it ourselves.
For
So
sure.
I didn't even, that just popped up in my head. So that's theory number 2. So then this is my last theory, and I have 2 videos and an article, and then we can get to your theory, okay? Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So to set up my theory.
Every time you interrupt, it takes them longer.
That's true. You didn't hear my expert fan.
I didn't hear
Every time
him.
you interrupt, it takes us a little longer. We're gonna probably go over time, and then maybe we should keep the stream
No, we're
going.
gonna end it. We're gonna end in 30 minutes. Promise.
Good. Otherwise, then we could keep the stream going. Alternatively, and then I'll mute my mic and my camera.
No,
I'll say goodbye.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Sounds good.
And we're out of here, and you can have fun with your family.
All right. Let's not waste any more time then.
Okay. So, all right. So just listen to this real quick.
We've got this farm crisis now,
Presley.
and this president should deal with this farm crisis right now. I'm hearing from bankers. I'm hearing from people that are getting pressed by their bankers to maybe sell part of their farm. So they wanted to sell to somebody that when they build up their equity, they might be able to buy it back. We haven't had this kind of stress in agriculture since the 1980s, putting 50% tariffs on things that have steel in them.
Oh, it froze.
And you need them for your tractor to be finally manufactured. There shouldn't be tariffs on things that you can't get in the United States. Why drive up the price of John Deere's because of a tariff on something they need for the tractor that they can't even get in the United States? It's a stupid policy.
So you drove up the price for the tractors that they need, and you took away their ability to sell what they're producing, and you're not giving them subsidies for it. So this is my theory. Well, it's not my theory. It's my research, okay? I'm trying to... Oh, I have to stop this and share it again. I just wish StreamYard would do better with this, but... So what is happening? We already know that AI... Let me take this off for a second. We already know that AI is taking is taking control of our government, or tech companies rather, are taking control of our government, correct? Like they've infiltrated our military. They are now they're taking over land. So I'm just trying to make this big real quick.
And it doesn't actually matter how much money they're actually making at the end of the day. This is the thing. Everyone talks about the grand potential of all of this technology investment. But if you actually look into how much money is actually being made, you find out none of it is being made. No one's making any money with all of these investments into data centers and crap. No money.
What are they saying? September 5th, 2025. This is from Foreign Progress. Foreign Progress. We can't let data centers devour farmland. A comprehensive, balanced strategy is the best way for artificial intelligence and agriculture to coexist. This is his take. I haven't actually read this one yet because I go to school every day, training. But I thought it'd be interesting for us to read together. Excuse me. It's stunning to It's stunning to see the growth of artificial intelligence and the massive data centers that power it.
Can you maybe blow it up a little bit? It's a little fuzzy, and if you maybe magnify it, it might make it clear. Sorry.
Is that better?
It's still fuzzy, but maybe that'll just clear up on
its own. I think it should. I don't see it as fuzzy.
Okay. It's all good. We can hear, you can read it though. We can hear the words when you speak them, whether we can read them or not on screen.
Yep. So we can't let data centers devour farmland. It's stunning. Well, for those of you who've seen it, we did a show about this, about how data centers are just decimating towns because the sound from the data centers, like the decibels that come out of those data centers, will drive a human being crazy. And those people can't leave because they can't sell the property because nobody wants to live there. So they're stuck there. And they're having all kind of health issues and all kind of stuff like that. I don't know if you just go back to the show. But anyway, it's stunning to see the growth of artificial intelligence and the massive data centers that power it. If I go on Google and search data centers, I'll probably come up with 2 or 3 new proposals every day for a data center to be built in Pennsylvania. There's one going to be built in Louisiana, by the way. It's overwhelming, but the thirst of AI is here and it isn't going away. What's concerning, though, are the number of headlines I'm seeing around data centers proposed on vast acres of farmland. One that sticks out to me is a recent deal for 50,000 acres of farmland in Michigan. According to Crane's Grand Rapids Business, a New York-based investment firm, Wisdom Tree Inc. is shelling out $500 million to buy out Indiana-based Ceres Partners, an investment manager focused on food, agriculture, and water resources. According to the article, Ceres owns 174 acres of farmland in 12 states. Why did Wisdom Tree buy out Ceres? According to the article, it wants to capitalize on interest in solar and data centers on farmland. And the 187 parcels totaling 49,964 acres it has in Michigan, and 41,000 are tillable acres in the Lower Peninsula. Tillable acres. So this is farmland that is tillable and you could grow crops on.
Why the hell would you put a data center on farmland?
Data centers.
Like literally, you look into how there's only so much arable land, like whatever percentage of surface on the surface of the earth, and we're going to use some of that extremely valuable. You can only grow food on this land. We're going to use that to put a data center on.
Exactly.
Like, people are insane. Put them in an insane asylum. They don't deserve to be anywhere near policy.
Exactly. In the race to become the leader in global AI, the government is pushing the build out of data centers across the country. This past summer, in Pennsylvania, President Trump came to the first Pennsylvania Energy and Innovators Summit to announce more than $90 billion in future investments in AI data centers, energy, and power infrastructure in the Keystone State. These data centers promise a lot of money and a lot of jobs, at least at first. But what's the ultimate cost down the road? More electric power, a lot of water, and potentially a lot of farmland. A recent Wisconsin Farm Bureau report on data centers in the Badger State shows small data centers need a minimum of 40 acres. That's small data centers. A large one would need a minimum of, I think, about either 350 to 400 acres, while upwards of 1,000 acres, 1,000, I was even wrong, are needed for large facilities. So you get the drift here, and when I'm saying this, I'm going back to the Zionism, because what do Zionists want? Full control over us, and how are they going to use it? Palantir, technology. So you see how I'm circling back to that, right? So I just want to show this one last video, and we're doing great because we're going to wrap this up for the babies.
Yeah. Well, I had some more that I could go on and on for days, like, of course.
Okay.
Because I wanted to talk a bit about how, like,
wait.
China.
Let me just show this, and then you could talk a bit about what you want to talk a bit about after you give your fourth theory, right? Because this is the third theory, and then you can give your fourth theory, and then we can go, or however you want to present it.
Okay.
I apologize. I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
There you go.
So this is my last Bella. This is my last thought on this, just so you can see, because I'm a visual person. I'm not always just a reader. I like to see video, and I'm tactical. I like to touch stuff. But anyway, here we go.
The president's relationship with Argentina is going to facilitate one of the largest land grabs in American history. That's my opinion. The United States is going to bail out Argentina to the tune of $20 billion.
This guy right, oh, that's the Argentina guy. I'm sorry. I thought it was from Pound.
So all these
There we go.
Is that just gone to the wrong video now?
For some reason, I
The
thought that was
president's relationship with Argentina is going to facilitate.
No, I thought that was the other dude from Palantir, but that's the president of Argentina. I apologize. Okay, here we go.
The president's relationship with Argentina is going to facilitate one of the largest land grabs in American history. That's my opinion. The United States is going to bail out Argentina to the tune of $20 billion, and it could be more. Argentina is one of the largest producers of soybeans in the world. China is one of the largest consumers of soybeans in the world. The United States currently has tariffs on China, meaning that it's more expensive for China to buy soybeans from the United States. There's already been talks of China wanting to negotiate and do business with Argentina instead. Soybean farmers took out a lot of debt for something that they can't sell now. And when you can't pay back your debt, the debt collectors come for what you have, and that's your land, that's your farm. An industry that needs a lot of water and land is artificial intelligence, AI. And this is Donald Trump with Larry Ellison and also Sam Altman, the founder of Oracle and the founder of OpenAI, ChatGPT. The average soybean farm is 300 acres, and AI data centers like the one they're building in West Texas are about that, if not bigger. And farms have everything that AI companies need, water and land. The AI data centers are getting bigger though, so that means that they need more land. And the average cattle ranch is 450 acres, bigger than the about 300 acres that the average soybean farmer has.
So this is the beef portion of the conversation, right? All right.
Okay.
Average cattle ranch is 450 acres, bigger than the about 300 acres that the average soybean farmer has. So I find it ironic that Trump yesterday said this.
The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
Do you see what's happening? When these farmers can't pay back their debt collectors are going to take their farm. They're going to resell them to these AI companies, and they're going to use them to build data centers. America's back, baby.
But that's what makes.
Okay, that's what I have. Those are my three theories.
If you can make profit by doing that, that's what people will do, as opposed to try to rescue the farm, which is far less profitable from the capitalist perspective. So we see how this logic is driving the insanity that you can't have, like, it's definitely false logic. You can't actually have real logic and this kind of result. You know, you have to admit that you've gone wrong there, but they can't ever admit that none of the capitalism works. So,
Right.
because it works for them, that's the thing. It's devastatingly effective at extracting profit if you can do it right.
Exploiting to extract profit. So what's your fourth theory? The fourth theory that I asked you to hold?
Yeah, they've been holding it for a little while, but I was
I'm so sorry.
okay.
I just want to make sure we didn't conflate, theories,
it's
so
fine,
everybody can hear it.
You had all your things that you had that you didn't want to lose track of what you were going to say, and had I gone on my theory, it was just as likely that it would have thrown off what you were going to try to.
But we're here now, baby.
But what I was saying, the idea that the 20 billion bailout is about interfering with the election, that is only half true at best, as far as I can, in my opinion, is more about the global de-dollarization, and these are the things that the U.S. has to do to counter China's actions, because if they don't, then they will lose their dollar hegemony. So in this way, China knows how to play the game, because they know if I do this, you're forced to act in this way. So I can dictate your behavior by making these moves on the chessboard, right? So
yes,
something.
So you're basically saying like an economic hitman.
Right. So Argentina, just I think in 2023, they signed. Well, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Be happy to see you next time.
Bye.
Always appreciate your show. Good work.
Yeah, always appreciate your show. Also, guys, as I know my dad doesn't really say this a lot, but to get other people knowing about this, because of the YouTube algorithm, like and subscribe.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
He is ready. He is ready.
Yeah. But I got to remember what I was saying. So China we have to learn about what a currency swaps are. All these governments around the world, they make these agreements to swap currency. You know, I'll give you some of mine. You put it in your reserves in your bank and hold our assets for us, and that will increase the value of our currency, and we'll do the same. We'll take your currency, we'll park it in our banks, and that will help you and you'll help me. But there's actually a massive bubble that is not ever talked about, and it's one of those things that I learned today, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Dad, look at what Bella did. How did
Marcus.
Bella accidentally turned on the TV? How did she turn on the TV?
Big butt, that's how.
Because Bella's smart. Bella's got a big butt and she cannot lie. Them other brothers can't deny.
And now everyone's talking about big butts. That's how it goes. Okay, I just want to share this tab here. Let me see. I'm bringing up something. I don't know if you guys know about this. You let me know in the comments. The hidden dollar debt crisis. How $80 trillion? Oh, come on. Everything has to have a pop-up to make it just impossible to focus. So this is from Friday, July 19, 2024, from Dunham.com, which is some capitalist investor kind of website, but trust and investment services. So hidden dollar debt crisis, how 80 trillion could impact the global economy. Key takeaways. The US dollar remains the backbone of global finance, driving demand even amid systemic fragility. An estimated $80 trillion in hidden dollar debt, mostly from foreign exchange swaps, exists off balance sheets worldwide. Off balance sheets, right? So it's one of those things where you only know about it if you are like operating in the financial world. But there's a $80 trillion bubble that could burst if whatever people panic, right? If people make a bad decision. So I'm so glad that so much power is in the hands of so few people with the ability to wreck things so permanently. We should all have so much faith in such a system, shouldn't we? So A strong dollar amplified by Fed rate hikes is pressuring global economies and worsening the dollar shortage. So it's interesting how much, no matter how much we flooded the world with dollars, they're like the number one, like 88% of cross-border transactions are dollars, and yet there's always a shortage of them somehow. You can never get enough of them. Sounds like the worst addiction in history.
How do you get shortage if you have literal money printers where you can make infinite money
as you want? Exactly.
as long as you have the resources?
That's an excellent question.
And you have a bunch of that resources, and you have a bunch of that money, so then you could make a bunch of that money. Then how are you getting such money?
We'll have to try to answer that instead of just become hysterical about it.
I see. He has your enthusiasm.
Oh yeah, some of it rubs off on me, or some of it rubs off on him. Sorry, but So where was I here? A strong dollar amplified by Fed rate hike.
Wait, hold on. I messed up. Hold on. Let me put you back on stage.
Oh.
There we go. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, now I gotta blow it up again. Oh, that's weird.
It's because I was sharing. That's like a.
But it looked like you had shared it, and then the words got small again. But when I go look at the tabs, it's still big. So I don't know. Whatever.
Hi, Sebastian F. We haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you.
Oh yeah, good to see you. Thanks for popping in.
Sebastian F. The USA supports.
The U.S. supported Argentina's dictatorship. That's right.
That's Mini Michael talking.
When you see someone like when you are in the chat and the YouTuber reads your comment out loud and even says it and it's a famous YouTuber, you're like, oh my god.
It feels really cool, doesn't it? When the podcasters actually highlight your comment. That's right. It's one of those things I appreciate when I make comments on other people's shows. It does make you feel a little special at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, so let me try and, for the sake of time, because this isn't the only article thing I'm trying to kind of make a broader point. So, strong dollar amplified by Fed rate hikes is pressuring global economies and worsening the dollar shortage. Foreign banks and institutions may struggle to meet their dollar obligations, increasing the risk of financial instability. So we're all obligated to hold the dollar, right? And whenever we don't have dollars in our reserves, it's a disaster, right? But if you maintain that thinking, how are you ever going to fix the systemic problems of like the system, or like the contradictions of the system, if like one of the things you need to do is get rid of the dollar, but then you can't because you feel like you have to keep it. So central banks have limited firepower to respond, making global markets more vulnerable to dollar shocks. As in 1971, the world is once again realizing it's our dollar, but it's your problem. So let me find another article here, because the thing is, my theory that I'm trying to explain, I'm getting a little bit taking too long to explain it, but Argentina and China had signed an agreement for a foreign exchange currency swap, which is one of many countries that are contributing to this $80 trillion debt crisis. On top of all the other bubbles, there's the AI bubble that's already popped, and we lost $2 trillion or whatever. And people are acting like that bubble has not popped. They're talking about what's going to happen when it does pop eventually. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't that pop last year? Did we all forget that already? So
and the AI just keeps getting worse and worse and worse the more real it gets. So then you think AI could be real.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just.
So then there's another bubble that everyone doesn't know. Oh, that is black, meaning only people who actually understand the situation, Asians actually know about it, but they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And when that explodes, chaos ensues.
Yep. Except the important thing to remember about those bubbles is what we actually want is for them to pop, even though there's going to be a whole lot of chaos that ensues because of that. The alternative is actually worse, where you're so afraid of popping the bubble that you just let it keep growing and growing, so that if it ever does pop, the disaster is so much worse than it had you just quickly got rid of it, nipped it in the bud to begin with, you know?
I know, but why do they have stuff like ChatGPT and stuff that could actually make videos and pictures?
Because they're trying to develop that technology because they want to replace they don't want to have to pay the human beings to do the work.
The artists?
They want the robots to do the work. So that way they won't have to say, like, we won't have any power over the business owners because they need us to do their work for them. But if they can find something else to do that work for them,
Then it's for free.
then they don't have to worry about us anymore. They can
But
just
then everyone knows it's AI.
right. But sorry, let's try not to get on a distraction here.
It's like
So
thinking a bubble that is. It's like thinking that there's a bubble that is popped, but then the bubble is growing still,
right.
and it hasn't popped.
That's right. That's where we're in right now. We're at that problem where we don't know if we want the bubble or we don't want the bubble, so we're stuck with it for now. So
Ronald has those 0 days. Young Lord is ice.
Yeah, Rondo is saying you're a cool man. You're a cool little man. You know?
Yeah, and also
Thanks,
I am
Rondo.
super energetic for my ADHD.
Yes, you are. So let me try and read this article, and then we can get out of here and we can hang out for a little bit, okay? Sorry. Where is I've got the camera covering the Okay, so Argentina deepens China ties amid economic strain, currency swap expansion. So Argentina's strategic currency swap agreement with China's People's Bank offers a critical lifeline amid a persistent dollar shortage, signaling a significant shift in its economic alliances and positioning within global trade. So China kind of sees Argentina as in a really tight spot, and they're like, hey, I can get you out of that, but you're gonna have to betray the U.S. dollar hegemony. And so Argentina's trying to get out of their crisis by getting China's help, while also trying to betray China and still give the U.S. what they want. Because if they don't give the U.S. what they want, guess what the U.S. does to people that defy them, right? So it's all about desperation, right?
If it's a different country and you despise and that country despises them, and we all know it's probably going to end up in a war.
Okay, sorry, Marcus, you're too far from the microphone, so I can hear what you said, but everyone else maybe is just wondering what you're just saying. But I know, but if we're trying to finish the last bit of the show, and we keep having more things to say because a bit about like ADHD, you know.
What's going to happen is at the end of the show, we're gonna let the kids close us out. Is that okay?
You guys want to sign off for us?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
So let me just read up this little bit. So Argentina's economic landscape and the dollar shortage. Argentina is currently grappling with a severe shortage of U.S. dollars, a persistent challenge that impacts its ability to conduct international trade and service its foreign debt. This economic pressure has led the South American nation to seek and strengthen optional financial arrangements. That seems like a bit of a typo. The country's reliance on foreign currency reserves, especially dollars, makes it vulnerable to external shocks and internal economic policy decisions. This dynamic has spurred a proactive approach to securing stable financial partnerships. So I would like to just quickly point out that we've, in our shows, over the last month or two, we've kind of pointed out a series of countries that have a dollar dependency. First, we were talking about Somalia, and why is there what is driving the conflict there? It has everything to do with their dependence on dollars. Then we were just last week talking about Indonesia having a massive dollar dependency, and all of these, violent political crises that happen because of that dollar dependency. Now we look at Argentina, we see the same thing. Can we make a robust theory about the dangers of dollar dependency? I think we can. I think we have a long time ago. We know exactly what needs to be done, but you're dealing with a violent criminal of a nation that wants to dominate through extra legal means. Okay, so try not to forget that however imperfect China may be, there's definitely the real enemy will be the United States. So
because they unite, and they also say as a meme, America is made out of guns.
yeah. Oh, nice. I didn't hear that one. Is that what the kids are saying these days? Pretty.
No, it's just something I found out on Dumbass called American memes.
Dumbass. There's a YouTuber who's decided to call his channel Dumbass. He's gonna be known for throughout history as Dumbass. Without with only one S. So he's.
So then and he doesn't swear and he gets demonetized.
But he's still swearing. So anyway.
Basically, yeah.
I'm trying to finish this article. So expansion of currency swap with China, a strategic move. In 2023, Argentina took a decisive step to bolster its financial resilience by expanding its currency swap agreement with the People's Bank of China. This move is pivotal, allowing Argentina to access Chinese yuan, thereby easing some of its dollar dependency. Now, what's important also to mention while talking about this is Javier Milei himself went out of his way to publicly announce that he doesn't want to have anything to do with communists. He doesn't want to work with those dirty commies in China. And then like the next a month later, a year later, he's taking this decisive step to bolster their financial resilience by doing the exact opposite of what he said he was going to do.
He's like, I'm just going to say something so then, and I could wait a year later
So when they promise that they're going to fix everything, and then you catch them doing the exact opposite of what they said that they did, that they were going to do, how can you trust them next time they say that they're going to do something? You obviously can't. There's not a little lie that he was talking about. So, and everything that they're doing, this is interesting for me, for commies, we're screaming to point this out to everybody. Everyone's acting like the communism was defeated with the fall of the USSR. Like there's no point in bringing this up anymore because capitalism won a long time ago, right? Everything that's happening now is that titanic struggle between communism and capitalism, right? So what China is doing with its de-dollarization efforts is it's literally trying to break that liberal capitalist system that's been in place since the Bretton Woods or the fiat currency that got set up after the gold standard. China, their de-dollarization efforts are trying to break that mold for once and for all, because like the other people who are ardent supporters of capitalism, they see what China's trying to do and they don't think it will work at all. They don't think it's possible to establish a global economy that does not have this global reserve currency that is basically just a capitalist system backing everything. So literally, it comes down to what you believe. Is China communist or capitalist, right? They have a state capitalist system, but ideologically, it does appear to me that they have their particular plans about how to in their mind, the best way to destroy the American hegemony is through these economic policy kind of warfare. And so I'm still very much on the fence as to whether China is who I think that they are. But a lot of the moves that they're making all over the world, it does really, it points to me as that the struggle between capitalism and communism is like more important than ever. It's never been so in such a titanic struggle than it is now, you know, because the U.S. is actually vulnerable. They weren't really they've never been this vulnerable before. And so I really think that for those of people who laugh at communists, you guys don't really understand what's happening behind the scenes, because it's the whole, like, the struggle never really went away. It just went behind the scenes, right? So,
interesting.
Let me just kind of bolster my point. This is from actually, yeah, I wanted to make because you mentioned Iran too earlier, right? Do you remember what you were saying?
Well, they've been mentioning Iran, so yeah.
Right.
It was what was mentioned was how Argentina, the president of Argentina and Bibi Netanyahu, they align themselves with their ideas against Iran. That's what I mentioned.
And hello, Mouse and Django.
Mouse got a new ride.
I hadn't said hi to you guys, but thanks for popping in.
Kieran sounds like Kieran.
Yeah, Kieran. I think Kieran is from Ireland, or is he from Scotland? We got a couple people from far away, all around the world, sometimes watch us. So.
Wait, how many subscribers do you guys have?
I don't remember. We have over.
Here's it. Tell them, Marcus, like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
Then like, subscribe, and share. If I say it twice, then YouTube will make it twice as more effective than if I just say it once. Probably.
Yeah. Hopefully. 217, Jacqueline says. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
She said that's how many subscribers we have. Okay. We're slowly getting there. It's like seems like each week.
Oh, we just got one more.
I'm working on it, Cookies.
Aww.
All in good time.
Neil, have you taught that young man how
sees the means of production? I'll explain that to you later, okay? But let me just read this a bit. You were explaining what we were talking about. They had mentioned Iran before when you were talking about the friendly relationship between Bibi and Milei. And so what I find the point I want to make about that though is the more that they try to vilify those countries, they're actually kind of like helping China's currency rise. And so it's important to recognize all the hypocrisy about, like, I struggle to understand China's hypocrisy because it seems to me like they shouldn't be doing business with these people at all. If I were them, I wouldn't want to. But maybe they don't have as much of a purity fetish, and that helps them actually accomplish things, right? So you have to basically work with your enemy in order to defeat them. It seems to be China's approach, which is exactly why the U.S. and everyone should be very worried about working with China. Where you shouldn't act like, oh, they just hate China because they're xenophobes. Or no, it's because China's strategy is brilliant and it's working. That's why. So anyway, and hey, Steve.
Hey, hi, Wolfie. Are you going back to the article? Because I took it down.
Yeah. I actually never. I meant to get into it, and then I got on a tangent again. So,
do you want to? Because we're at the 2-hour mark. Do you want to wind down or?
We got 3 minutes, so I'm just going to try and make it. Yeah.
Okay.
So the rise of the renminbi is the story of the next cycle. Demonization of the likes of Iran could help propel Chinese currencies rise. This is from 2019, so that's where I find it actually even that bolsters the importance of this article, because it's written 6 years ago, but it reads like it's written yesterday.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Steve Johnson, that's our uncle. That's my Uncle Steve. That's funny. Not really, but just got the same name as him.
They have the same name as my great uncle and my dad's uncle.
Okay, yeah. So the decline of the dollar and the rise of the renminbi could be the story of the next cycle, thanks to a confluence of political, economic, and structural shifts a large asset manager is predicting. The widening gambit of U.S. sanctions, epitomized by a renewed push to cut Iran's oil exports to zero, but also encompassing measures against the likes of Russia, Venezuela, North Korea, and to a lesser extent, China and the EU, will be one side of de-dollarization. So what that's kind of long sentence, but it's saying the widening gambit of U.S. sanctions will be a driver of de-dollarization. So the U.S. is a driver of its own de-dollarization because of its sanctions, which many people have said several times over the past few years, but the U.S. doesn't want to listen to us. So that's perfectly fine by us. You want to be a driver of your own demise? I would like to continue watching that.
And they do that because they have so many they have so many funds they've already converted into other other currency that are in the Cayman Islands or wherever else. So it's not a concern for them
Right.
that the US dollar is going to be de-dollarized.
The
That
capitalists
they
that
don't
support those
care.
policies, they have ways to get around the sanctions they're advocating for. Exactly.
Anyway,
So back to as countries seek to cut their exposure to the greenback, according to Investec Asset Management, a $134 billion fund house. Investec also pointed to structural shifts in China, such as the decline in the working age population, which will cut the domestic savings rate, leading to persistent current account deficits, which Beijing would prefer to fund by borrowing in its own currency rather than that of the US. So that's also something that we often forget, but it's extremely important, is that the dying off of the boomer generation has some very important, just like macroeconomic effects. And as much as we're kind of trying to attribute why things are the way they are to all these other ideological kinds of explanations, some of this just this material, like the population is more old now than ever before. Like we don't have enough young people to replace them. That's a massive economic problem. Part of the reason why they want to digitize whatever, make their technology is their solution to not having a large enough labor force to replace their aging population. They were just gonna, you don't need to have as many kids if you can have robots instead of people, right? So it cites the fact that China has overtaken the US as the world's largest oil importer, is illustrated in the first chart, which is down here, as a third driver. So one reason for the dollar's historic dominance is the US-Saudi settlement in the 1970s to invoice oil in petrodollars.
And don't forget that's the quote-unquote.
Okay.
So,
Which underpins dollar-based network of trade and finance. That's also a massive change that did happen. I forget when this is from 2019, right? So this guy did not know that the Saudi U.S. settlement, it's over now. I think it was last year.
Maybe.
The Saudis decided to start invoicing oil in yuan, in the renminbi
it's
instead
a
of dollars.
Petro one now.
Yeah. So that cannot be overstated, the significance of that shift. So that's where I'm not sure about what Saudi Arabia's role in everything, all this transition is, but we better figure it out because what they do makes a big difference. So,
long game, not short.
Exactly.
And that was said by Philip Sanders, co-head of multi-asset growth in the
at Investec.
Investec.
Right. But China would prefer to settle its trade bill in renminbi if possible. Oil companies in Russia, Iran, and Venezuela have already begun accepting renminbi as payments for Chinese imports, and were Saudi Arabia to follow, which we now know it has, that would have a substantial impact. So added Mr. Saunders, who also pointed to last year's unveiling of renminbi denominated oil futures on the Shanghai International Energy Exchange. So I just find it also interesting. This is 6 years ago. They're talking specifically. They're using the talking point story of the next cycle. Now let me just try and see, where is it? Where did I have it? Because I found another article. Maybe this is the algorithms they're like matching key terms, and so then I happen to come across these things. But
which one of Dad's thousands of tasks as is the article he's looking for?
Yes, exactly. You called me out on it. Why do I struggle? As one cycle ends, another begins. Here it is, from the IMF. So that's where, and we're talking about IMF bailouts for Argentina. So let me just share this, and I'm doing it again. I said we were done, and I keep going, right? So
yeah.
But this is all I wanted to show.
Do that.
Just to show you that
we're 2 hours and 4 minutes in.
I know. I just have to share the screen here. That's all. As one cycle ends, another begins. Growth divergences persist and could widen while policy shifts may reignite inflation pressures. They're talking about projected global growth and everything, but they know full well what cycle is ending and what one is beginning. So the IMF, that is traditionally whoever done the U.S.'s dirty work and has been the economic hitman, they're what do you think they want to do or whatever? You think they want to stay on the losing side, or do you think they want to get on China's good side and become their economic hitman? So
You know that
that's all. I'm done now. We can wrap it up now. Thank you.
I have one thing to say before I close it out.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
China or Japan, whatever it is put stoplights on the ground for people who are too addicted to their phone.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a great idea.
Yeah, but then and now people just so then you got to go like instead of like.
So now, if you want to see what the stoplight is, you have to look down. If you're not addicted to your phone, then you're gonna have to hurt your neck to look at.
You either have to hurt your neck or hurt your neck or hurt your neck.
That's funny. Thank you
have
for
to look up by hurting your neck or hurting your neck by looking down.
Thank you for sharing that.
One
fun
kitty
fact.
message ever.
Yeah, hi Kira. You ready to say something?
Apparently, in the British Army, there was a penguin.
We can't see.
Penguin in the British Army.
We can't see her.
You want to come onto the screen? We
It's
can't see.
like
And wait, hold on. Podcast.
Listen to Abby. You froze. We're gonna wait for her to come back. Go ahead. You froze. Can you say it again?
Podcast 101 is only one person at a time, so everybody can understand what you're trying to say.
Yes. Let's not interrupt each other. So
Okay,
go ahead, Kira.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it started back in like 1976.
We can't see you.
Back in 1976, and throughout the history, I think it started back in like the 1900s, probably in 1976. I can't exactly remember, but anyway, so like over the years, they like had like 3 penguins because penguins don't live forever.
Right.
And the third one they have, which is actually still alive today, in the UK they have it. They have a statue of the penguin, and also it lives in its own little area. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that is we were talking about Argentina, and the British have control over these islands that are called the Falkland Islands, I believe, or Faulkner. I think it's Falkland. Falkland. But the British have the Argentina disputes the control over that. They say that those islands should belong to them, but the British they fought a war with the British, and the British won and retained control over those islands. And those islands are very far south, very close to Antarctica. And so, where do you think that the penguin came from? It probably was in the Falkland Islands, and then brought Falklands, and then brought to the to the UK or whatever. So that's an ironic little addition to our conversation, Kira. Thank you.
Let's show this.
Yeah, Jacqueline knows she's the British.
Let's show this one. How come I never heard of this penguin? Maybe because it was started in the 1970s. Well, I've heard about it on the
1970s fits with the timeline.
I've heard the I've seen a YouTuber called VMAs, and they did facts. Yeah, and one of the facts was that a British penguin was in the army. And you know the reason why? It was because
Don't let them read the comments. Don't let them read the comments.
They'll go on all night. We're gonna have to.
Don't let them read the comments.
What's Abby? Let's listen to Abby.
I said, don't let them read the comments. They're children.
Yeah, stay away from the comments.
The reason why they walked like penguins was because the reason why they had a penguin was because as I think it's Prince Philip, or was it Queen Elizabeth? Yeah, I think it was like whatever.
She can read this one. Ask her to read the comment.
There was no need for the Falklands War, and the British had no use for them and weren't even bothered about them until Thatcher decided to go all Winston bloody Churchill.
Yep, that's good. Well said, Jacqueline.
And I am
sometimes they don't. They just take these islands just to hold them so that someone else can't have them. There might be something strategic about the needing the sea lane, but it's not like the Falkland Islands are not like the Madagascar, where it's one of the most important sea lanes for international traffic. Like nobody goes around the southern Cape of South America because we have the Panama Canal. So the Falklands are not that strategic. They just felt the need. Their British whatever loss of their empire. They just need to cling to whatever they can. So, but we are going on and on. These kids got to get going home soon.
And I
Kids, sign off, kids.
Sign off.
Say your one thing, and then you guys got to do your
And look, does Mama want to sign off too?
Why penguin was in the war was because it walked
No,
like
I don't think that was the actual reason.
I think it was because they walked like they walked they walk like they march.
I'm pretty sure that another fact is like they're in the Canadian Army. I think back in the 1900s as well. During World War I, there was a goat who was named Billy.
Okay, now we're talking about something else. This isn't signing off.
And then the reason why they enlisted Billy in the Canadian Army was because Billy actually saved a soldier from a bomb.
Interesting.
Like kicking them off.
Okay,
like kicking
time
them
to
off
say
a mountain.
goodbye, guys.
Like kicking them off the hill.
They said, what are they saying? They're very happy to. Sorry, it was nice meeting your children. So they're saying that kind of stuff. They think you guys are cool and funny. So.
And they want you to say this, like say this.
Share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe, and like the video so that you could get more.
Like the video and say TY for watching Noteworthy.
Say thank you for watching Noteworthy.
Thank you for watching Noteworthy. Like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you never miss a new video about politician facts.
Yeah, and we hope to see you next time. That was a great sign off, Kira.
Yeah, that was
I am loving it. Wonderful job.
Okay.
You too, Bella. And Miss Mandy.
So let's try and wrap it up.
I'm gonna wrap it up for you. I'm gonna wrap it up for you.
Okay. All right.
Canadian kids are gonna be all right.
Yes,
What's wrong with trap music? All right, bye, Michael and Kiz and Mandy and Bella.
You get trapped with.
So I'm gonna end it so he can spend time with his churn. That's what we say in Louisiana. We don't say children, we say churn. We always like take words and mush them together. If you know, you know. If you don't worry about it. It ain't for you. So here we go. I have a video to like set it up, and then one that's funny. And I'm gonna, after I set it up, I'm gonna sign off too. I'm gonna show my funny video, and then we out. I love y'all. Y'all are awesome. Good family indeed.
My name is John Watley. I'm a producer from Odom, Texas. I farm cotton, grain, and corn. We have finished our harvest in South Texas. And this government shutdown comes at a time when we're on one of the worst financial situations I've ever experienced on my farm. I have bank loans due with high interest rates, bills to my suppliers, and without proper access to government functions, we're unable to market our crop. The longer this shutdown continues, the worse it is for me as a producer. My name is John Watley. I'm a producer from Odom, Texas.
All right, that was that. Look, my brother said, I could say churn. Look, I spent too much time code switching for white people. I'm not doing it. Okay? It's not happening. I'm going to say what I want and do what I want. Because I have the freedom to do so, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so with that being said, Thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys got some information out of our topic today. That's what we try to bring you every week. Didn't y'all love the kids? Oh my gosh. They just made my heart swell. Oh, and they were so smart. I told you I don't know. I don't know who's giving them all this information, but they got it. And and like I said in the beginning, it's not about indoctrinating them. It's about giving them one side of the story and the other side, and letting them critically think and try to figure out what makes the most sense in their mind, and helping them along the way, right? Because if you help them along the way, what makes the most sense is going to become painfully obvious as long as you have the correct information, as long as you're doing your research and providing your research as you teach them. So it's my 2 cents. I think we're going to be back next week. No, next week we are going to be doing. I might have my dates mixed up. I think next week we're going to be doing a free Aspen podcast. And then after that, we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programs. We're going to be checking on what you put in the suggestions on Discord. We do take those into consideration. Remember, stuff moves really fast, so sometimes we have to go with what's going on, and we have to look at other podcasts to see what they're talking about, and try to. What we'd like to do is bring you something other than what you've already heard over and over and over again by other people. So, yeah, we're just going to keep doing that. We love you, fam. And we hope you have a wonderful week. And we'll see you next time.
Of a government shutdown, I get that. However, I did just book a meeting with Russ Vaught, the dude who did Project 2025. I know y'all know who that is. Me and him go get together. He go tell me how much I need to cut and all the places I need to cut from. And that's pretty much what we go do. You know, that's what we go do. I can't believe the Democrats let me even get this opportunity. And let me tell you something. The Democrats are not stupid people. Remember what I said a couple weeks ago? Smart people don't like me. And Democrats are not stupid people, which means... I know y'all gonna say, oh, Trump, I thought you said you didn't know nothing about Project 2025. So,